When Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was released in 2019, some of the best Star Wars related games we were getting around that time were crossovers with LEGO. The game changed how a Star Wars title could be from a gameplay and narrative standpoint, and that blew me away. Developer Respawn continues to craft their blending of action platformer with the follow-up Star Wars Jedi Survivor. After playing 3 hours of the game and exploring the various locales of Koboh, it's evident that everything that worked from Fallen Order has returned. Still, Survivor pushes the gameplay systems to new levels, as it seemingly strives to be this generation's best Star Wars game. Before we get into the video, we'd like to thank our Patreon supporters for making this possible. Please take a second to check out patreon.com/noisypixel to support independent game journalism. During my time with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Cal Kestis has just crashed on a planet of Koboh, following a complicated mission from the game's opening. He's now searching for Grease to help fix the Mantis and get information about his current mission. The planet of Koboh is rife with discoveries, many of which will shape Cal's journey ahead. Where the first entry has Cal struggling with his Jedi abilities, we get a much more confident version of the lead, but plenty of dangers lie ahead, which will test his connection with the Force. I won't spoil the story for anyone, but I will say that the writing is of movie-level quality. As I experienced each story beat, I felt immersed in Cal's mission and did my best to bring my skills to the game because plenty of challenging encounters were just around the corner. That said, players can choose from 5 difficulty options that affect various aspects of the action, including parry timing, dodge, and overall challenge. So let's focus on gameplay. Cal can equip 2 battle stances out of the 5 available at any time: single, double-bladed, dual-wield, cross-guard, and blaster. These stances dictate how Cal wields his lightsaber, with each having its own skill tree to unlock new abilities and ways to approach combat. Respawn has players use almost every button on a controller when in combat. Depending on how you fight, shoulder buttons are tied to force abilities and parrying, while you have the face buttons dictated to light and strong attacks and dodging. It takes a little while to get comfortable, but once you understand the abilities you have access to, which there are many of, it's easy to chain together attacks and look cool as hell doing it. Interestingly, some of the attacks require you to hold down a button press to anticipate other attacks. This creates various builds for players to customize their experience with either offensive or defensive builds. I would describe the overall environment experience as Metroidvania meets Dark Souls. But Star Wars Jedi Survivor brings some unique systems that differentiate it from those titles and its predecessor. The planet of Koboh is massive, allowing players to explore large areas with branching paths that lead to optional missions or small discoveries. Even though I was on a bit of a timer for my experience, I couldn't help but be distracted by points of interest around the map and put some time into seeing more of this game. However, your approach to it will be up to you. There's moments where you'll need a particular skill, so you'll have to return, but I never found myself confused about my next destination. This is probably because the map has been updated significantly to properly show where you are and where you can and cannot go. Also, don't worry, there is a fast travel option. Further, trials lie scattered around the map which will test your puzzle solving and force abilities to make it through. There's an additional trial known as Fractured where Cal is put through a time trial and players will need to understand the trial's gimmicks to get through till the end. Everything you do is rewarded from stat upgrades to cosmetics for Cal and BD1. Further, exploration is enhanced with the option to tame creatures that lend in additional ways of navigating the environment. Graphically, I think Star Wars Jedi Survivor is gorgeous. While I encountered some areas of frame drop, my experience with the game made me more in awe of the architecture and design of each area, enemy encounter, and stage design. Of course, having a pretty game is one thing, but using game design to guide players through the levels without coming off as hand-holding and allowing them to discover the path on their own shows how skilled this team is at crafting these exquisite playgrounds. There are various NPCs met throughout the world who offer side quests, but the overall design appears a little stiff. Regardless, these missions seem focused on showing off more of the level, with one even including an encounter with the Rancor. There's a sense of freedom while navigating that I hope makes it into the other planets I have yet to experience. The opening moments highlight Star Wars Jedi Survivor's dedication to providing a true Star Wars adventure to players, but it also provides a genuinely stellar gameplay experience. However you approach exploration, you will surely have a thrilling time in this world. Everything has been refined in this release, from menu systems to combat, and I look forward to discovering how Star Wars Jedi Survivor evolves across the galaxy and to other locations when it launches on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on April 28th, 2023. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixels run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.